Howdy, I'm Grey Pilgrim. Well, I spent most of the last few days cutting and hauling wood, prepping for the next winter. I think I've got enough now, but you can never have too much. If you got too much for this winter, well, there's always the next winter. You know, it's just the ongoing nature of things. And the way they keep bumping the price up on other fuel sources, I'm sure glad I got a wood stove. Anyway, other thing I wanted to talk about, I don't know what's going on. My YouTube channel has been a real constant for many years. My subscriber count was going like this a little bit, a few tens every now and then. Until I got a shout out from another channel called 11 Bang Bang. Garrett Woods over there did a little short in which he said, check out Grey Pilgrim. And then, boop, it went way up. He got me over 1,000. Well, since then, it's sort of stabilized. It's gone flat again. But about, 3 weeks ago or so, it started climbing again. And let's see, over the last 2 days, I've gotten 10 new subscribers. Welcome, new people. I don't know, it's just, there's no rhyme or reason to it, Besides which, I'm a GunTube channel. GunTube doesn't do well. We're not supposed to do well. We're just not woke enough, Anyway, I just thought it'd be a very American day to show this. It's my Hogleg. If you're an American, this is the gun for you. Colt Single Action Army. Well, this happens to be a Cimarron, and they call it a Pistolero. But with that short barrel, it looks more like a Colt Banker's Special than anything else, because they made one just like this and marketed it to bankers. By the way, open it, go to half cock, or actually, I think it's the second click. Yeah, second click. Empty. Mm-hmm. You can't really pull the magazine out of one of these. It's a single action army, single shot, single action. Single action. It's 6 shot, actually, technically, and even with this kind of a firing pin, it doesn't have the transfer bar in it, so this particular one is a 5 shot. The reason is that if you drop one of these, it'll tend to land right there on the hammer, and if that happens, and it's sitting on a live round, that primer's going to go, and it's going to be probably pointing right at you when it goes off, and that has happened a few times. Once in the Navy, as I recall, I remember reading, and it was a Marine Corps. It was a Marine, and he was getting off of a landing craft, and his gun fell out onto the deck of the landing craft, and bam, hit him right in the head. He was out. He was gone. Anyway, this one's, like I said, it's a Cimarron. It's called a Pistolero. It's a 45 long Colt, and it has an absolutely wonderful trigger on it, and it shoots really, really well, I think. And I love it. And it's came from a dear friend, and thank you. And anyway, just talking. I'm just feeling very American today. I don't know. Maybe it's because people who aren't very American are holding their communist convention. I'm sorry, the Democratic National Convention. I think it's more communist than anything else. I don't know. How many times do they have to try that before somebody finally figures out it ain't going to work? We've got the USSR, Cambodia, North Vietnam, Venezuela. Every time it ends up with food being rationed, the money's worthless. It's just. But it's all because they didn't do it right, and this time we'll get it right. Well, how many millions are going to die this time? Each time, millions die. Just ask Pol Pot. I don't know. I really don't feel that optimistic about the future of America. I think that the majority of American citizens right now favor a different way of doing things. But the power brokers that are in power right now, well, they almost got one of the candidates, and in 1963 they got the seated president. The deep state is not going to just stand by and let the freedom of the will of the people prevail. We're just going to have to take whatever is handed us, I suppose. And of course, then there's what did Jefferson say? From time to time, the tree of liberty must be watered with the blood of patriots and of tyrants, for that is its natural manure. I think that was the quote. I keep that in mind. And I keep a single action army near me most of the time, too. Though these days, I go with a little newer technology. I knew a guy at Albuquerque I used to hang out with who always walked around with a classic single action army that he'd gotten from his dad. He was a little older than I am. Mose was his name. And Mose was, he always had it on his hip. And that was his main duty weapon, as it were. I knew other fellows who always walked around with a weapon on their hip. In that day and age, concealed carry was illegal in New Mexico, but open carry was perfectly legal. So a lot of folks just walked around with a Hogleg on their hip. It was just natural in Albuquerque. I mean, nowadays there's full of gang violence, but back then, yeah, you'd hear it bang, bang, bang down in the South Valley, but in the main part of town, there was a lot of folks who liked to go armed, and they had for there in the deep South, in the Southwest, people had been arming themselves for many, many years. And it's funny, Tombstone has this reputation as a lawless town. Take a look at the statistics on crime in Tombstone and compare them to the same time period in Chicago and New York. It would surprise you. Philadelphia had more crimes than Tombstone ever did. Even with a full Boot Hill, it was not that many. Yeah, they had the shootout at the old OK Corral. That was an anomaly. That wasn't the normal state of affairs. Yeah, they had saloons and gambling halls and brothels all over the place. There was a strip in Tombstone that was just loaded full of them. There's a YouTube channel called Arizona Ghost Riders. Santee is basically the head guy there, and he talks all the time about what's going on in old Tombstone and places like that. He's a wealth of information. Check him out. Like I said, check out 11 Bang Bang while you're at it too. There's some good channels out there. Garrett's going to do a thing on the Trapdoor Springfield this weekend. Well worth seeing. Anyway, I'm just here rambling at the moment. Just thought I'd take a look at my old Hogleg and talk for a while. Happy trails, folks.